I typically don't send the questions unless somebody asks
Yeah.
because I feel when you have the questions.
So it's like, yeah, this journey of creating has been so intimate, and I've learned about myself, and I've evolved, and I've grown. Try to have at least one person in your corner. It's hard to build a team, right, of people to help you with bringing your ideas to life and leading on the journey. But if you could have just one person, that makes. What brought you here to Charlotte Podcast Studios?
Truth in the air, let it speak.
Okay.
So, because I know you, and I feel I know you well enough, on Creative Roots Podcast, Tay tends to sit one leg cross or crisscross applesauce when he knows who he's talking to.
Okay.
So, this is something that I tend to do.
Okay.
And people know when they see this, oh, okay, he knows somebody.
Oh, because you're comfortable. Gotcha.
I'm comfortable.
You like, okay, cool.
Yes, I am in a comfortable state again.
Okay.
So I don't have any intro. I just talk. No intro. We're already recording.
Okay.
So unless something is said that does not need to be put out,
you gonna cut it out.
I don't cut any of this.
You don't cut any of this. Oh, see, that's why I came prepared.
Yes.
Because I was like, I don't know if he cuts anything so let me be on my best behavior. So
I mean, I tell people be you. That's the best way to get through these episodes.
Okay. Well, I'm a Virgo rising, so I'm very I like things to be structured, and I like things to say the right things or do the right things. So
I'm with you.
Hey, what questions are you about to ask me? So
you're not the first. I know you won't be the last. But I typically don't send the questions unless somebody asks.
Yeah.
Because I feel when you have the questions, some people over prepare.
Yeah.
And that's when they try to quote unquote say the right thing. And it don't come out right.
It doesn't? Okay.
Not everybody.
Okay.
I'm not saying people here.
Yeah.
But I just know I send you the questions. Like what happens a lot of times when I have sent the questions, I say introduce yourself, and they answer all 3 questions.
Oh, see,
and
but
I
prepared for that.
Yes.
I said I got to make sure that I pace it so I'm not just answering, so it could be more conversational instead of.
I tell this is a conversation, not an interview.
Right.
You're not applying for a job. You're just telling the world where you started, where you come from.
I started my journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a messy one. No, it's not messy. Actually, it's pretty straight. I feel like it's messy because it's just me, and I know all the behind the scenes of what I've done, what I've had to do, how I had to pivot. But I guess if you're an outsider looking in, it seems pretty.
Yeah.
Streamlined.
Very.
Yeah. The Virgo in me.
So listen, welcome back to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast, where seeds sown become visions grown. And as y'all see, your boy only got one leg crossed today. We're not going to be able to make that other leg cross. Not today. I tried it, and I said no. So, because Shamar going to be mad, but I have to let y'all know Shamar is away on business, so he will not be talking in the background on this episode, which is going to be slightly rough because I'm used to him being back there. This is like Michael Jackson and and Jermaine, that relationship, because he's not here. I'm not seeing Shamar. But anyway.
I wish I knew what that meant.
You said what?
I wish I knew what that meant. It's okay.
I was going to explain it.
It's okay.
So today we have Charlotte Podcast Studios, apostrophe S, because it's Charlotte Podcast Studio. We have Charlotte Podcast Studios' longest running client.
Yes.
Okay. This is Stori Daniel, Is it Daniel or Daniels? Because I was.
Daniel. A lot of people add the S at the end, but
That's what I
there's no
thought.
S at the end, no.
Yeah. So again, the longest running podcaster
Yeah.
at Charlotte Podcast Studio, making a name for herself, gaining traction, all things mental health.
Mental health, wellness, body wellness, spirit, mind. Really centered around like, therapy modalities or just, I would say, different ways of thinking about your wellness. I think a lot of people, when they think about mental health or, that connection, you just think talk therapy, which is great. I'm in talk therapy. I love it. But there's so much more. And the platform really is about introducing that. It's educational. It's not just trauma dumping either. Because I know when people hear my podcast name is, and how does that make you feel? It's very cliche, therapeutic, long. But when I came up with it, I was like, oh, that's perfect. And so I think when people hear that, they're like, is it all about trauma? And like, no, like we have episodes on, traditional East Asian medicine. We have episodes on lactation consulting, anything that has to do with our wellness and how to live a better life, a more aligned life. That's what we talk about.
So, Stori.
Yes.
When you came here, you've been here since the beginning, if I remember correctly. The beginning of Charlotte Podcast Studio.
Yeah.
I want you to just talk about that experience, just starting your podcast. And I'm going to go back in a second because I know where I want to go.
Okay. All right. So the beginning, just starting with my podcast journey. So I actually took a few different mediums or, I guess channels of like how I wanted to express myself in the way that I wanted to be creative. It started off as a blog.
Okay.
So I started doing a blog, still live. Of course, hasn't been updated in a couple years, but I was going through, I was really just transmuting my pain into purpose. I had went through what some people might call like a dark night of the soul or just this emotional upheaval that I had. And on one sort of side to it, as I was going through, depression, I will say like I was waking up crying. I don't know if you've ever woke up crying. I was like, why am I waking up crying? I'm going to sleep crying. Like I had no idea what was happening to me. And then going through just like old childhood wounds being reopened. Then at the same time, I had went through a friendship breakup as well, which accountability hour, right? Like I played a role in that. My actions had initiated that. And I would rather break up with a million men than go through another friendship breakup. That was so rough. And so all these things were happening. I was, like I said, depressed, trying to figure out like what these old childhood wounds, why they were opening and why I felt like I was, basically 12 again, 11 again. And then the friendship breakup and then dealing with the disappointment of that because again, like I played a role in it. All of those things happening. So I felt very alone. Of course, I went to therapy. That was the first time I got into therapy. I was like, I really want to work through whatever the hell I'm going through. But I felt alone. And so one part of why I started, my platform was I wanted to be that person where people didn't feel so alone in what they were going through, even if we weren't going through the same thing. Sometimes it's just comforting to know, okay, I'm not the only one who's dealing with these really heavy emotions, these heavy experiences. But the other part of that too, as I was going through therapy and trying to learn more about myself and get through those things, I had just really learned very insightful, like had many insights and epiphanies and delved into resources that were really helping me. So I was like, oh, I would love to share this too with people who may benefit from it.
On December the 20th, we're going live, and we finally have permission to wear our ugly Christmas sweaters. But you can also come in your Christmas pajamas, your Christmas socks, your Christmas hats, or just come as you are. We're going to have food, games. We're going to talk to previous guests and the whole crew. We're going to meet you here. Can't wait to see you. Make sure you RSVP.
One part of why I started, my platform was I wanted to be that person where people didn't feel so alone in what they were going through, even if we weren't going through the same thing. Sometimes it's just comforting to know, okay, I'm not the only one who's dealing with these really heavy emotions, these heavy experiences. But the other part of that too, as I was going through therapy and trying to learn more about myself and get through those things, I had just really learned very insightful, had many insights and epiphanies and delved into resources that were really helping me. So I was like, oh, I would love to share this too with people who may benefit from it. So that was the other side. I was like, I want to help people not feel so alone. And I want to provide these insights and these resources to help just one person even. And so that's why I had started off with the blog. So it really took that storytelling part of it and that connection and that vulnerability part with that I wanted to share. So did that for a while, and then it transitioned into a book club. And so I did a book club, which was only 3 books. So that was a very short-lived, but it was amazing because that was the other piece of it, is I got to share resources with people. And we did Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown, I think All About Love by Bell Hooks, and like one other book. And so I set up this whole platform, and shout out to Tirza. She's my accountability coach. So she was with me through the whole thing. She was like, okay, you're not doing the blog anymore. All right, let's do the book club. Here's a platform. So I got a platform together, got my books. I was writing like detailed notes, like book notes for the people in the club. I was, thinking about doing giveaways. I did journal prompts for every single book we were doing. Oh. And so, yeah. And no AI either. There was no chat GPT or anything. I was like, it was all me, like putting in hours of work, like, because I wanted it to be super, valuable to the book club members. And then Stephanie, shout out to her. She was the one who was like, oh my God, I would love to do a book club with you. And so like along this journey, it was like just people kind of in my ear in a good way. Like, oh, you should do this. Like, because, as I was going through all of this emotional turmoil of sorts, I was talking to people about it. I was just like, I guess venting in a way, but just really working through it with others and speaking about what I was learning about myself. And I guess I was inspiring others in a way, which is humbling. But Stephanie was one of those people that I was talking to, and she was like, oh my gosh, like you should write a blog, and oh my gosh, you do a book club, and then which led to, oh my gosh, you should do a podcast, because my last blog post was a voice note, and she was like, oh, you have a really good voice for podcasting. I was like, oh, thank you. She's like, if you did a podcast, I would totally listen to it. So that's when I stopped the book club and then did the podcast. And throughout each of these, channels, I guess you can call them, I realized that although I felt like I was like giving up or pivoting too fast, my goal or my mission always remained the same. Make people feel less alone, provide resources. And so a podcast has been the most consistent channel I've used. And it's allowed me to combine the two things from the blog and the book club, which the blog was storytelling, vulnerability, connection. Book club was resources. And so with the podcast, I get to do both of them. And so, yeah, my journey started off just making my pain purposeful. And not all pain has to be purposeful, but for me, it made sense to do that. And I think that's why, as artists in general, people say they do their best work when they're like sad or like,
going through
angsty, things, just going through it. But I think the reason to that is because we are most vulnerable, and there is so much energy in that. And I believe in, we can neither create energy nor destroy it, but we can utilize it. And so I was like, let me turn this into something beautiful.
And you have.
Thank you.
You did. And every episode is different. Now, I'm not going to lie. I prefer your episodes to be in person
Yes. Yeah.
because I get to hear everything and I get to ask questions afterwards, because I also think that you are number one with virtual podcasts out of the studio as well.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Shout out to Charlotte Podcast Studio. I would like to thank us.
Yeah.
Shout out to Allen Luck Studios. I would like to thank us. Shout out to Art Box Charlotte. I would like to thank us. Okay, plugs over. So I guess that kind of answers the question of what got you started on your creative journey, right? Just the angst and the pain from, we can call childhood trauma, and finding an outlet for it.
Yeah.
Right. So in the midst of that, do you have a tally of how many other people you've helped process through their childhood trauma or just trauma in general, or you've never looked?
Well, let me go back to, because I realized you were also asking about my experience here too. When I started the podcast, because I just went straight to the journey. When I made a decision to do the podcast, my Tirza actually was the one who sent me the link to this place. She's like, they do all the videoing and like they have all the equipment. Because I'm like, do it for me.
Right.
I don't want to do nothing. I just want to show up and be the talent
Right.
and embody being like the host. And so, yeah, you weren't here yet. It was just Shamar. And my first time here, I was like, this is amazing. They have the cameras already. They're going to handle all the sound mixing and all that stuff and putting everything together. And it was my first episode, which was like the most vulnerable one. But I remember I was like, Shamar, can we move this plant over here? He was like, which plant? I'm like, that fake one over there.
Oh my God.
He said, fake. I was like, that's right. He's like, this is a real plant.
Yeah. So Shamar does not like when people come in here and call these plants fake. Stori didn't know that. And she called
and this
it.
is my first impression, mind you.
Right.
So I was like, relationship over, professional relationship over. I just offended this man. But no, he still makes fun of me for it. But he was like, nah, it's okay. A lot of people think it's so pretty that they think it's fake. So he takes that as a compliment.
Yeah, we do. Like, at first I was like, I asked the same thing when I got here. I was like, this plant real? He like, Tay, don't do that. Don't do that. All these plants in here are real. So, yes, they're all real.
They're all real.
So, you started off on a good note. I think that may have been the episode, like you said, you were the most vulnerable. Is that the episode you dropped a couple of tears on? Because I know Shamar was like, she had me here about to cry too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first one. I don't think, if you watch it, I don't think you could see any tears. But it was my first ever time. I was so nervous being in front of the camera because I don't do this. Like, not even driving here, getting my lift here. I was like, my stomach was in knots because it's still something that I have to overcome, just being on camera and being perceived. And I'm also a Pisces, so sometimes I feel like I talk in circles. I don't get to the point. So
Still nervous?
yeah, still nervous.
All these episodes and years later, still nervous.
Yeah, but I just pushed through it. I'm like, oh well, gotta do it.
I don't think I get nervous. I think I don't know what the word is. I think I go into that overthinking how to start. That's why I say I don't really have a start, to these episodes. We just press record and I find a clean cut and everything gets put out. They know.
Well, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I deal with a lot of perfectionism, and I'm like, I need to say the right thing. I need to do the right thing. And that's actually one of the things that the podcast has helped me to work through. I'll say this. Being a creator, and especially one where you put out your work, you meet yourself in ways you never thought you would meet yourself. Like,
Right.
It's such an intimate journey of getting to know who you are and what you deal with and how it actually manifests in your life. So perfectionism was one of them. And I had a very surface level idea of being a perfectionist. It was like, oh, I just, want things to be perfect. It's much deeper than that. So what I realized, and I learned this through Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown, was that there is actually some unresolved shame attached to perfectionism. Because perfectionism will say, if this thing isn't perfect, you're not perfect, you're not enough, don't put it out, don't do anything. Like it's very scary.
Yeah.
And shame is such an extreme, like, because, one example that they give is if you make a mistake, guilt says, oh, I made a mistake. Shame says, I am the mistake.
That's deep.
That's that difference, so it was so, I had to get over myself being a creator and putting my face and my words and my ideas out there, and realizing why I had that resistance. And that was, again, that perfectionism, the shame attached to that. Even like resisting getting better. Like I had no idea why. I'm just now, taking courses and like really digging into, okay, how do I improve my interviewing skills? How do I improve my public speaking skills? But I had such a resistance to it. And I'm like, why is it annoying me? the thought of getting better. But it was that perfectionism that said, well, if you get better, or if you acknowledge that there's a room for improvement, what you're saying to yourself is you're not enough and you should stop doing this and just quit. Very extreme, right? But
no, not extreme.
But it confused me, because I'm like, oh, why am I telling myself that narrative?
On the outside looking in, is that word right? Being on the outside and seeing somebody like that and slightly being that way for me, if the way I look at it, if you know there's room for improvement, that means you have not been as perfect as you think. And I guess I took it the opposite way of, well, I need to get there. Being a perfectionist, like things come down to the point where if this cable is off that much, the whole set is wrapped. The whole set is just done. I screwed up the whole set, but nobody sees that but me.
Right.
And it's everything with the videos, the photos, and even talking to people is, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I gotta make sure that when I see this person, I do this. But trying to be perfect for me was always something to still reach instead of something that's like holding me back, being in shame about it. I am the problem is kind of how I took the opposite. But I am one of those people that does a self-examination. And if I'm like, okay, I am the problem, my next question is, how do I fix that? How do I improve? That makes sense?
It does. And I think for myself, it was like, how do I get out of that thinking of like detaching myself from what I think the issue is? So instead of saying I'm the problem, it's
what is the problem?
Yes. Because it's not me, but it could be like that other thing. It's almost like for emotions where they always tell you don't attach yourself to the emotion. Like you say, I'm experiencing resentment. Like I'm not resentful. I'm experiencing that emotion because like me and that emotion are not attached. Like that's not my identity.
Right.
And so with that perfectionism and things of like, oh, like you said, say the wrong thing. Ugh, I'm stupid. I don't know how to talk. I don't know. It's like that spiral is like getting away from that so that I have the openness to improve and okay, like next time, here's what I can do to mitigate those things. And so it's like, yeah, this journey of creating has been so intimate and I've learned about myself and I've evolved and I've grown. And I really just had to get over myself. Yeah.
Do you think it took you a while to do that, or
I'm still doing it. Yeah. I'm still I'm still doing that.
I'm with you because when you came in and Dr. Kim was here, you know, what's it called? NIT?
NET.
NET. When we went through that whole process after you got done recording, things were revealed to me that were like, and that's why I haven't done anything. You know, the deep-rooted childhood trauma, one thing that he noted was one of the issues that I was having from childhood trauma came from when I was still in the womb. How do you have trauma in the womb?
Yeah.
You know, and going through that whole process with Dr. Kim just added to what I went through and what I learned in therapy and gave me a new level of I don't care, for lack of words, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, you focus so much on what other people think and what other people would do instead of just doing. And honestly, that's part of how this podcast even got started, you know, or even me being in front of a camera, because I never cared for being in front of the camera ever. But here I am.
In spite of like just the fear of it. It's like you just do it afraid. Because for you, your trauma was, or what you found for with Dr. Kim with the NET, that was about, wasn't that connected to like being in front of the camera? What he revealed?
It was being in front of the camera, being seen, being taken, I was about to say unseriously, and that is not a word. Not being taken, right. Not being taken seriously, getting things wrong, and then the correction that would have come behind it, like, oh, you're wrong. That's not what this means. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And you're not a real expert. You just don't know that. And it was just, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So that's what all of it was coming down to. Basically, like I tell people, I don't like being lied on and I don't like being lied to because I'm not going to lie. And part of that trauma for me was being called a liar so much at a young age that I started telling the truth, right? If I'm going to get in trouble, I might as well tell you the truth. Did you do it? Yes, I did. Why'd you punch him? Because I felt like it. That's the truth. I just felt like punching him in his face, you know. Sorry, mama. But, you know, it's just, that was the biggest thing, just getting in front of the camera, possibly saying the wrong thing and overthinking it. Oh, I have to script everything because if it's not scripted word for word, I'm going to say the wrong thing and someone's going to come in the comments and there's going to be all kinds of backlash and I don't want to fight.
It's like that catastrophizing.
Yes.
I'm saying that right.
Listen, we're making up words today.
We're making up words, okay? Y'all know what we say. It's all right.
Right.
But it's just, but that I feel that's the perfectionism. Like you turn, everything's very all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like the shame part of it is very, like, again, I make a mistake, it's like, oh, I made a mistake. It's like, oh no, you are the mistake. It's very, it's like extremes. It's black or white, all or nothing. And I do the same thing. You make up these stories before anything has ever happened. Nothing's happened yet. You just fear.
You haven't done anything, and you have given already 5 multiverses of the outcome.
Yeah.
And that right there is something else that I call, or that I know is called the spirit of fear. Because instead of saying, oh, well, let me just start, because I know I can talk to people. Let me just start. Let me just go. Let me just do, like we say all the time, just press record. Just make sure that you have everything working and running. Use what you have. Just go. Just do it. And then you say, well, I got everything scripted. I got my first 10 episodes. I've got this. I've got that. But what about my hair? Oh my God, my hair's messed up. Oh shoot, I didn't shave. I can't do anything. Oh man, my glasses might be a little dirty. I can't see myself. You come up with all these reasons and excuses.
Yeah.
If your hair is messed up, who cares? Press record.
And still post it.
And still post it.
I mean, it helped because some of the videos that I watch or the YouTubers that I really like. I remember one YouTube video, the girl, she had lip gloss on her chin, and they still recorded and they still posted. And you could tell by the comments too, like, yeah, some people mentioned it, but more people were still engaged in like the actual content of it.
Right.
It really wasn't about, oh, you got, this big blob of lip gloss on your chin. And if anything, it gets the people talking, even if people were to comment on it. So what?
Light up the comments quickly.
It, watch the video, comment, engage. It helps the algorithm keep showing, my video. And what also helped me to get over that perfectionism piece was realizing that if I can build up my resilience to the possibilities that my brain has already come up with, things get less scary. Because I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. Okay, if someone does say this, here's how I can handle it. Oh, okay, if that does happen, like, what's the worst thing? Because sometimes the nervous system will say, you're going to die.
Right.
Like, it's death. That's it. This is death. If that happens, you are just going to go away.
You're done.
You're done. But when you kind of look at like, no, like, I'm resilient enough to handle that. Like, oh, I actually would know what to say. Or like, okay, that's fine. It's that building that resilience of it. And so those things kind of, for me, just got less scary because I'm like, okay, if I do say the wrong thing and someone does comment on it, so what?
Yeah, because when I started my motorcycle channel, you're like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be fun. I'm going to do all this, do all that. And then you post something and being lighthearted, thinking, I'm just going to turn this into a joke. I mean, it's just something random. An older lady passed me on the left. I said, okay, I'm gonna catch her at the light. So I flew past her when we got to the light. On takeoff, I took off. But then I looked at my speedometer and I was like, oh, I'm going, 15, 20 over the speed limit. Let me slow down. So she passed me and I was like, yep. And there goes grandma flying down the road. I said, I'm okay. I have a class A CDL and I'm not trying to lose it. And I laughed it off. And a lot of people laughed, but there were some people that got in the comments and were like, yo, that's so disrespectful. What if that was your grandmother? And I'm like,
yeah.
So you missed the joke? I didn't find anything funny about it. I said, but you chose to comment. That is when I said, no matter what, if you want to argue, let's argue. I'm going to be nice about it. But you want to argue, because I am, ask Shamar, who is not here, I can be King Petty #1 if I want to.
Yeah.
So I try to just.
But you can't make everyone happy.
And that right there was something else that made sense before and after Dr. Kim. You can't please everybody.
You shouldn't want to.
And you shouldn't.
Some people don't deserve being pleased.
At all.
Leave
them where they are.
Yeah. There's miserable people who are dealing with things, people who just want to argue, people who,
Trolls.
And too, they always say, like businesses when the reason that you might have more negative reviews sometimes is because people are more prone to comment when they have something negative to say versus when they have something positive to say. That's just human nature. You know, when you have good service at a place, you're not thinking, let me write a review. You're probably like, oh, I'm going to tell my friends and family about it, but that's it. You have a bad experience at a place. What's the first thing you want to do? I got to write that review.
I got to tell everybody.
I got to tell everybody what's going on. So
right.
I also think of that like as many, if I get, you know, negative comments, so sometimes they're warranted, but in the case where they're not warranted, I'm like, well, for every negative comment, there are probably like 10 other people who loved it and they liked it and they just moved on. They didn't say anything. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we just don't care because we can't. If we dwell on the negative, you'll never see the positive. Never. So listen, Stori.
Yes.
You've been doing this for a while and you've had guests and returning guests. How has the support been in the midst of the whole creation and molding your podcast and your creative journey?
My support, I always say, like, try to have at least one person in your corner. It's hard to build a team, right, of people to help you with bringing your ideas to life and leading you on the journey. But if you could have just one person, that makes all the difference until, of course, you're in a space to bring more people in. On the business side of things and like the background, I mentioned her, Tirza Monet. She's my accountability coach, Capricorn, neurodivergent. So she's all about her systems and processes and things of that nature. And she's also been someone who has like lived 1,000 lives. So there's so many things that I didn't even think about for the podcast. Like a lot of my guests will come on and they're like, you know, I've been on bigger podcasts. Your systems are the best I've ever seen. Like your onboarding process is the best I've ever seen. And that's because of her. She set me up with, hey, you know, and she knows me as well. We go back, way back when Twitter was actually a place of like connection. Now it's just like a bunch of memes and stuff. But there was a time I remember where, you know, Twitter was like a community builder. Like you got your own, like you had the tech community, you had this community, you had that community, and you would actually meet each other and like, you know, network. And so through that's how I met her. And we just kind of stayed in touch over the years. And I remember reaching out to her just to like see how she was doing. And she was like, well, you know, I have this service now, accountability coaching. Like, you know, you're talking about wanting to do a blog. Like I can help you with that. And so from there, we just teamed up and I've been with her ever since. So yeah, she like helped me with what systems to put in place. And then, you know, I have the t-shirt. I was like, oh, I want to give something to my guests. She was like, oh, you should do a t-shirt. It's something tangible. They can wear it, promote it. And I was like, that's a wonderful idea. And also the mental part of it. So when I talked about, you know, this journey being very intimate, like she, although she's not a therapist, has helped me so much with like just getting over those mental blocks and reframing the way I think. And so through her, just having her, the support, she really is the reason like I'm still here and I keep going. As far as guests, like I was shocked how many people said yes.
Yeah, me too. Cause
like they're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be on. And some of them don't even have like a huge, you know, public platform to where like they want to be, you know, in front of the camera and stuff.
Some people just want to educate.
Yeah.
And that's always the lovely thing, you know, being able to educate, especially if it's a field where a lot of people don't know or a lot of people don't know, you know, they don't know about it or they've heard about it, but things that they've heard are not correct, you know, because anybody can post anything on social media, you know, and you can get in a comment like, hey, actually, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but to be able to come on a platform, talk about it, express their mental thought process on things like that is it's a completely different space, you know, because we can talk, after you record, but we don't dive into certain things because it's like, hey, you recorded and then you're gone, right? But yeah, I mean, I would say yes. I mean, I don't know if I could be on your podcast. I can't dive into that. I can only give my personal story.
Yeah.
I don't have any credentials for that, but I know you do such an incredible job with what you do.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
And I love every single one of my guests. I mean, just supporting me and just saying yes, because I'm not a huge podcast either. So just them having that faith in me because it's not even all just about like, oh, I'm going to share my expertise. Like they're trusting me with their passion, with their voice. And, like sometimes it is scary being on someone else's platform because they can cut and misconstrue and, all the things. And so I don't take their trust lightly. Like I even will send them the video before and be like, hey, is there anything you want to cut out or change? And most of the time it's like, oh, great, amazing. And I just love my guests so much. And even like Dr. Kim, we mentioned him. He lives in California.
Right.
And so he flies down here.
Yes.
Just to be on in person with me. He's the first guest to do that. Hopefully not the last, but the first guest to do so. And so my guests are another reason that I keep going. Because it's, even if I'm like, oh, I don't know if people are going to like receive it the way I want them to, just seeing my guest afterwards be like, wow, that was so fun. Like, or, I really enjoyed myself. I'm so excited. That alone could make me keep going. So,
yeah, I've had 2 guests. I had one drive down on like a tour from Philly. That was L Croc. And then we had AC Forever who flew in from Dallas.
Crazy.
Yes. And it's amazing when you get support like that, because especially when you're small, you're just starting. Because I don't even know if we were on episode 10 or 15. No, I think we were pushing toward episode 15, and both of them had already come down. When I started, it's probably similar to how you started. You just say, well, I got to get it out.
Yeah.
Have to get it out of my system. I know what I want to do the first couple of episodes, and you just contact people people that will show up, and then next thing you know is like, hey, you get emails, you get DMs, you get people that are looking to be on your podcast. And I know you reach out to a lot of people.
I do, yeah.
Have you had many contact you before you had a chance to contact them?
So that is actually something really new that's happening now. Our people are reaching out to me. Like I'm getting emails pretty weekly now where they're like, hey, we have this person. We think they'll be great on your podcast. Like, here's their angle. Here's their story. Would you be interested? And again, very humbling. Very. Because I'm small. Like, this is a huge podcast, but for people to, again, trust me and, like, see what I'm doing is still in shock. I'm like, okay, so this is growing into be something. So, yeah, yes. I now have people who are reaching out to me to be on.
Have you had anyone reach out to sponsor yet?
Not yet. So, it's... my biggest social media platform right now is TikTok.
Okay.
And I've had a couple videos get pretty big. The one with Corinne, that one got like over 1 billion views. And so some smaller brands might reach out like for more like affiliate type of deals, but not yet like a sponsor. Like, hey, we'll cover the cost of like, what it takes to produce an episode for that like placement. And I think it's coming. I think for a while because
it's coming.
We know.
We know it's coming.
We know it's coming. Thank you, Tay.
Yes.
We know. So it is, because for a while I was just like, oh, like I'm too small, like I'm not gonna get that. So I feel like energetically there was a bit of a block to that because I wasn't really believing that I was worth it to get sponsors. But now I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm worth it.
Yeah.
Invest in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay for this.
Yeah. I mean, you're consistent. And
But that's crazy because I used to feel like I wasn't consistent.
you release once a month?
Yeah.
Or were?
Well, in the very beginning, it was like once every 2 months. I keep posting.
Right.
And that was another thing that I had to get over was I'm like, well, I'm not consistent enough. Like I'm not working hard enough. And it's very easy to get into that mindset when you're just carving in one path, which is what my coach was telling me. She was like, well, you don't feel productive because you're working towards one thing and being consistent with that one thing and like, again, carving out that path and versus doing like 10,000 things. Because when you're doing 10,000 things, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm productive. I'm doing the work. But when you're
Right.
on that steady path and you're just looking straight and trying to, mine through that, it's like, what am I doing? Am I doing enough? I'm not working hard enough. I need to be doing this, and that. But no, you're focused. And then sometimes your productivity and consistency just looks different from what you might have been conditioned to believe.
Yeah. Because that raises the question, what is consistent?
Yeah.
Because consistency is different for everyone.
Right.
And everything. My consistency is once a week, right? And we sit here, and I believe this is episode, I don't know what episode we are in the story. We're not at 40 yet. But, somebody else's consistency once a month, once every other week. We come out with this one big episode and we don't do anything for 2 months. Like Corey Kitchen. He doesn't put out a video all the time. He could be gone for 6 months and come back and still have a high rating, right? So consistency is relevant to the person using the term.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah. Things look different for everyone.
Yeah.
And it was a sort of challenging those lies we tell ourselves sometimes. And like, is this true? Or am I just looking at it in a very, am I putting this in a box where it doesn't need to be? Like, oh, productivity looks like this. I'm like, does it? Or can it look like this? Or can it look like that? Or like, I think one thing that I mentioned earlier was the lie I told myself was I am not committed to things for a long time. I'm like, I'm not committed to things. I keep pivoting. I keep giving up on stuff. It's like, oh, no, actually, it just evolves. Like, I do have a goal and I just tweak it. And it looks like, oh, I'm giving up on that or I'm giving up on this. But I'm actually evolving. So that transition from blog to book club to podcast wasn't me giving up easily. It was just building on top of that. And I'm a manifesting generator. If you're into human design. So we are supposed to pivot, but there's a method to our madness. But because I've been so conditioned to believe that growth looks like this, it was hard for me to see that, oh no, it actually looks like this for me. So yeah.
Yes, Stori, yes. So listen, we're coming to a close.
Okay.
If there was one seed that you could plant for someone wanting to get into podcasting or start or continue their creative journey, what would it be?
I think I have 4 things for creators.
Run them.
I think there's 4. So the top 4 things that I would probably tell any creator or creative, number one, things look different for you because you're different. Two, enjoy the waiting room. 3, you're always going to be bad if you don't try and try and try again. And number 4, which I think is the most important one for creatives, is never get too attached to your work.
Those
Number
are deep.
4, let's start there. And just to expand, when I say never get attached to your work, I think it's a very common thing in the creative field of like, once you put something out, it's no longer yours. It's just hands off. It's theirs now, which is hard because, as I mentioned before, creating is so intimate and you feel like everything you release is you. It's a part of you. So when it's critiqued, when it's, people communicate or are receiving it the way you don't want to receive it, you feel like it's a reflection of how they're viewing you or how they're misinterpreting you. Detach from that. It's not yours anymore.
Let it go.
When you post it, that's it.
That's it.
And it's funny because my coach, she was telling me, like, when she was in art class, there was an exercise where the teacher did just that to teach their students. Once you put it out there, it's not yours. And so basically people like drew, whatever, something that represented them. And they ended up passing the paper to their left, in front of them, beside them. And so he was like, okay, draw a square in the middle. Mind you, it's not your work. So you're drawing a square in the middle of something that isn't yours. So it's awkward. You're like, okay, I'm ruining this person's artwork.
Right.
And then it was like, okay, pass it to your left. Now erase the middle. It's like, it's not yours, but you're like, okay. So you're erasing the middle. So then it was like, okay, in the middle, draw, something that represents this or something that reminds you, like, of a nightmare or something. So there's people drawing now on your artwork. So then you pass the paper back to the original artist and you have your beautiful thing that you just, drew, but now it has like a bunch of other stuff on it. And the message was, once you put it out there, it's no longer yours.
No longer yours.
Detached from that. Again, I know it's hard as an artist. Like Erykah Badu says, I'm sensitive about my shit, but it's not yours. You just gotta let it go.
Yeah.
The third one, if you don't try, you're always gonna be bad at it. And I think for me, of course, as I just mentioned, a lot of that was just realizing, there's always gonna be room for improvement. But that doesn't mean anything about your worthiness or, your ability to get better. Just because there is room for improvement doesn't mean you're not enough. And it is a bit of a, I don't want to do this because I'm afraid of not being good, but the only way to get good is to do it. Sorry.
Yeah. You gotta do it.
You just got to keep doing it and building that muscle. And even with certain episodes, like if you look back at my first versus my most recent, there are things that I have, tried differently, have done differently. There was one episode where I forgot to really even introduce the guest until like 5 minutes in. And it's like, but.
Oh, that's normal here, but go ahead.
But it's like, I would never be able to improve if I just didn't keep showing up.
Right.
Oh, I beat myself up about, I said the wrong thing or whatever. But that comes through experience.
Yeah.
So try and try and try and try again. Because you're never going to be good at it if you don't try.
Right.
Second one, enjoying the waiting room. I think that as creatives, we also, and as people, especially living in a capitalistic society, we just feel we want things fast. We want to like get the 1 million followers and like get the, brand deals and the sponsorships and just have things, be catapulted into our idea of success. And so sitting in that, waiting time and being like, well, am I doing something wrong? Like, is it me? But enjoy the slowness, because once that speed takes off,
you need to be ready.
You need to be, enjoy this rest, which rest is productive too. I've had to learn that too. Like, to intentionally incorporate rest into my creative process because it's just as productive as the actual producing. And you never know why you're in that waiting period. You know, it could be because there are some friends you need to get rid of. It could be because there are some people you need to meet. It could be because there are skills that you need to acquire, behaviors you need to let go of. You know, I think we think of waiting or not being successful in, again, our idea as a punishment. And it's like, consider how this actually could be assisting you. Consider that it's not because you're not working hard enough or you're not doing enough, but because there are paths being laid out for you that align just to you. It's easy to think that, too, people are taking your spot or, oh, my God, they got this and I haven't gotten that. But everything, and I guess it leads back to my first point, like everything is different because we are different. You never know. It's like, okay, yeah, it's cool that they got what they got this way. But if you did it that way, it would probably turn out completely different for you.
Completely. Won't even line up, won't be the same, won't look the same,
Won't
sound
be
the same.
You would probably squander it. Like, you don't know. Like, maybe this path is the best thing for you because it fits you and what works for you. And so, yeah, first point, too, things look different because you're different. just we're all different. And to that point, too, if you feel like there isn't space for you in a certain field, my coach said this to me. She was like, you know, sometimes it's hard for us to understand just how unique we are because you're the most familiar thing to you. So seeing that thing from the outside, like, people are seeing how different you are and how the different angle that you bring. Even just receiving it, you and another person could say the exact same thing with the exact same tone and the exact same shirt, you know, but the way that people are going to receive it are going to be completely different between you two.
Right.
Think of it like actors. They go in and they recite the same lines, but it's always going to be different because they're different people. So don't allow the oversaturation piece of things to get you, because you may not be able to see the uniqueness that you bring to it, but I trust you other people are going to see that because you are the most familiar thing to you. So you don't see it, but they see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my 4 things.
Stori Daniel has dropped so much knowledge on y'all today.
I hope so.
And I hope y'all got it. But if you didn't, like I always say, go back to the beginning, start it all over again.
Was I rambling though?
For me, no.
Okay, good.
But then again, I'm comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For me, no.
Just put in the comments if I was
if you
rambling.
think Stori was rambling,
Yes.
just put ramble in the comments.
Just put in bold letters, big letters.
She will see it and she will respond. But no, I don't think that you were rambling.
Okay. I hope it all makes sense.
And it might be because we somewhat talk the same. We give you a story, but we bring it back.
Yes.
Shamar
I always try to
says-
bring it back.
Yeah, because Shamar be like, Tay, you going left. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not going left. I'm going around about. I'm in the roundabout. I'm coming back. So I don't think I prepped you for this part.
Okay.
But I allow the guest to ask me a question at the end of the episode. So, do you have anything to ask me?
Do I have anything to ask you? What brought you here
To
Charlotte Podcast Studios?
God. Simple. Because I don't know if you know, but I was a truck driver for almost 5.5 years. And the last month I was driving, I started having real bad chest pain as I was driving. And I kept hearing this voice. That's it. You're done. I've been told you it was over. And I'm just thinking it's just me saying, oh, well, I think it's just time for me to go home, be with my wife, be with my kids. But it's like, no. The same voice, the same way. And then I get home during my kids' spring break, and as soon as I pop that air brake, it's like, shh, and that was your last load. And I said, oh, I spent 2 weeks figuring things out, and I'm gonna push the story forward. God basically said, that's it, you're done. I got so many confirmations from people at the new church that I had started going to. People are telling me that God told them things, and I'm one of those people that's like, and I don't say those words, but when they were said to me, it's like, God said, whatever it is that you're thinking about, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know what that means, but that's what you're supposed to do. And one lady said, she brought up plants, and she was like, you know how when you plant things, in order for certain things to grow, the soil has to be kind of turned upside down and do things like that. She said, well, God told me to tell you that things are going to take a turn for you. Things are going to be flipped upside down, but God said it's needed to be done in order for you to grow. So I don't know what that means, but enjoy the rest of your weekend. And then she walks off. And I'm like, so that's 3 people in the same day, 2 church services in 2 weeks, and just talking to people, the text messages that were coming through, and then just said, okay. I got off the truck. I came home and I made a phone call, and it was like, I'll call you back. So I'm like, hey, I know you're still doing this stuff. I'm home. I'm no longer on the truck. I got camera equipment and I'm trying to put it to use. Oh, okay, come down to the studio. I came here and I've been here since.
Yeah.
So you have to watch the short film too. I'm just sending it to you.
You have a short film?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because I don't really, I got a micro, a mini, and a short. And I just recently put all 3 of them together in one film. So I have to send it to you.
Isn't it crazy how those things just, it's like all of a sudden just things aligning and things. Yeah.
Because I had been saying for a while, I said, all I want to do is be at home with my wife and kids, editing videos all day.
Yeah.
And that leads me to when people say, be careful what you pray for, because you just might get it.
Yeah.
I should have reconstructed that a little bit more, because I found myself literally at home editing videos literally all day and sometimes all night. So I had to find some workarounds to ease that for myself. But yeah, that's how I ended up here. And I told Shamar, I said, I felt led to be here, and God has not told me to leave yet. And in true Shamar fashion, as he puts it, I hope God don't tell you to leave either. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. I think that was the question.
Yeah.
How did I end up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
Passion and seeing Shamar's vision and knowing that our visions intertwine to push a common goal, reach a common goal. So yeah, that's how I'm here.
I'm glad you're here.
Me
It was just
too.
me and Shamar.
Yeah, me and that guy.
Yeah.
What
did you call him in the beginning? It was Jordan, and you made a basketball reference. I'm like, oh.
No, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Oh, where'd I get Jordan from? Okay.
If I remember correctly, it was his brother Jermaine, who was always to his left. And Jermaine left the group. So Michael was like, I love all my brothers, even Jermaine. Kind of like throwing shots at him, like, I can't believe you left the family group. You never heard of that?
No.
Yeah, just, you can Google it and be like, Michael Jackson thanking his brothers and Jermaine. And that's how he did it. That's what he did.
Oh, Lord. I think in the beginning, I thought it was like a basketball reference. Where did I get Jordan from? See, that just explains my day. But I'm glad I asked that. That was, that was a profound story. And please do send me the short film, because I had no idea.
I thought you knew, but...
No.
Well, not about the short film, but I thought you knew that's how I ended up here.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, yeah. So, listen, y'all. This has been another deep conversation on Creative Roots Podcast. Story, can you please let the people know where they can find you?
Absolutely. So my podcast is called And How Does That Make You Feel? And you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music. I think I'm even on like Amazon Music and iHeartRadio, I think, as well. I just uploaded it to everywhere I could. But if you want to watch or listen on YouTube, it's actually under my name, Stori Leanne. So StoriLeeann. I mean, like I said, it is, we do episodes on a variety of topics regarding like wellness and, again, thinking of just a better way to live, but really more so connecting us back to ourselves, because I've always said, the more authentic you are, the more you're living a life suited for you, you become unstoppable. You are able to find that peace and find that happiness that we all crave. So we have episodes on different healing modalities. So if you're not into talk therapy, a lot of my neurodivergent people aren't. We talk about NET, which is what Tay did, which is what I did.
That was an experience.
It was an experience. or neuro-emotional technique. We talk about traditional East Asian medicine, so different ways of, fueling our body, really targeting the root of things versus like the symptoms of things. We do talk about talk therapy. We talk about grief. We talk about ADHD. Episode that's coming up is with Dr. Kim again, who did the NET session. He's talking about how you can actually reduce your cravings for alcohol by what you eat and how you fill your body. So, so you can, YouTube, Spotify are the main ones. If you want to connect with me on social media, TikTok is probably the biggest platform that I use a lot to share clips of podcasts and like talk about whatever. Sometimes I'll talk about other stuff, but you can follow me on TikTok at Stori Leanne, again, StoriLeeann, yes. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, I have beef with Instagram. Honestly, I don't know if you like Instagram. I hate Instagram.
I don't like TikTok.
You don't like I love TikTok. Oh, man.
I got problems with TikTok.
I have problems with Instagram. Me and Instagram are going to beef. But if you want to follow us on Instagram, you could do @myth. So it's just the first initial of And How Does That Make You Feel? So AH and how DTMYF on Instagram. But like I said, I feel like I'm more active on TikTok. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll still post on there. I will. And yeah.
But TikTok is the main.
TikTok is the main because I like it. It's so much better. I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about TikTok. We can talk about that.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got to convince you. I think I like it. But okay.
Well, I don't really like social media at all. But
I can understand that. Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
Because you got to have, just deal with people commenting. Yeah, it can be a lot.
It's not even the comments. It's just, I've always been kind of a somewhat private person.
Yeah. Do you like being perceived or no? Do you know what that means? It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where it's, you put yourself out there and then people just make these assumptions or things about you and take things and make up stories, stuff.
I don't know. I feel people will look at you however they choose to. So perceive me as the bad guy, perceive me as the good guy. It's your perception.
Yeah.
And I'm a strong believer of you believe what you want to believe because you choose to believe it. So I can sit here and have a smile on my face all day and somebody can be like, that dude's fake. And I just say, what's fake about me?
Yeah.
Prove me fake. Show me to be the type of person that you're trying to call me. Oh, that dude, he da-da-da-da-da. Well, how did you draw to that conclusion? That that's me. So I mean, to be perceived, at least I know you're watching. I know you're paying attention. You know, watch the video 5 times. Go ahead and give me them extra 5 views. You know,
Yeah.
leave a comment, say something. You know, it just shows engagement. But I don't know. I just never really cared for social media. But I have to because of what I do.
Yeah. The curse.
Yeah. So listen, y'all. This has been another episode of Creative Roots Podcast, where seeds sown become visions grown. I want to thank Stori for coming in
Thank you for having me.
in the midst of what was taking place today.
Yeah.
Shout out to Allen Luck Studios, Charlotte Podcast Studio, and Artbox Charlotte.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank us on all 3, and we are out. Peace.